All right, let's talk about teaching students how to write an introductory paragraph. This can be really hard for a lot of students, and especially, they sit there and they don't know how to write their first sentence, how to even begin. So they spend all this time sitting there thinking about that very first sentence and don't even get to their meat of the essay. So we want to provide students with a very clear framework that's concise, that's easy, that makes writing approachable for them and gives them that confidence that they need right off the bat before they even dive into the body paragraphs. So we're going to talk about the introductory paragraph, and before we do, make sure that you subscribe to this channel where you're watching this video for more videos like this one. So the introductory paragraph that I'm going to teach you comes directly from our EB writing program. It's been used with thousands of teachers all over the country and around the world, and I'm really excited to share the first part of our EB writing program with you in terms of our EBW approach, which is what we call literary analysis. So we're going to talk about the introductory paragraph through that specific lens. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. So what I'm going to share with you for the introductory paragraph, again, all comes from our EBW approach, which is a part of our EB writing program. And you can find more information about our program where you're watching this video. So the way that we teach the introductory paragraph is broken up into 3 separate sections. You'll start with your tag, followed by your summary, and then finally your claim. So the introductory paragraph will always follow this specific framework, this specific sequence. So let's go ahead and dive into each one of these more specifically. So the tag stands for title, author, and genre. And what I love about the tag is that it completely eliminates from students I don't know where to begin, or I don't know how to start, or I don't know how to write a hook, what we hear all the time. And this is great because it's going to give them that confidence, especially when we're first teaching them how to write a literary analysis essay. And once they really get the hang of tag and they feel comfortable with writing and their confidence has soared, then absolutely we can still teach them hook. But using tag to begin with gives students that initial confidence. Whereas with hook, they sit there for hours trying to come up with a great hook. And that's not really what we want them to spend their time focusing on, right? We really want them to spend their time focusing on evidence, justification, etc. And this also immediately clues the reader into what the writing piece is going to be about. How many essays have you read that you're like, what story are you talking about? They never mention the title of the book once. Well, here we're giving our students this prompt that they know exactly what to include at the beginning. So looking at an example, a very simple example, here we have The Gift of the Magi, a short story by O. Henry. And it's very simple, very straightforward. As students progress and get stronger with writing, they could add adjectives, adverbs, make this tag a little bit more interesting. But the gist of it is that's all that they need. So it's very easy for them to get started. You'll see title, genre, and author. And again, it can be put in any order. So you can do tag, T.G.A., G.A.T., however they want to set it up. But they want to just make sure that they include all 3 parts of the acronym. Then the next part of the introduction is the summary. And in the summary, you initially want to aim for about 2 to 3 sentences for students to write. We don't want them writing a ton of summary because, again, that's not what they're asking them to do. We're asking them to write a response to a literary analysis prompt. We don't really care about the summary in the same capacity that we care about their evidence and their analysis. So initially with your class, it's very helpful to brainstorm together the key events that should be included in a summary. This gets students off on the right foot. They start to feel confident. They're not sitting there forever thinking about those 2 to 3 sentences. We really get to do some hand-holding at the beginning. And then as students get stronger at coming up with these key events in those 2 to 3 sentences, we take those training wheels off. And then students eventually get into the habit of only selecting those key events. You'll stop getting the and then, right? Especially if we're telling them you can only write 2 to 3 sentences when they're first learning. We want to give them a little bit of constraint. And then when they get stronger at this skill, we can allow them, maybe 4 sentences, 5 sentences, etc. Where we don't want them to get stuck is just writing a bunch of summary, when again, that's not what we're really truly looking for and grading them on, because this is not that type of a response, right? This is a response to literature. This is an essay. So looking at an example, you still have the whole tag, and you'll notice that the tag flows into the summary, which is again something you can teach students, or you can have them write them separately. But here we have The Gift of the Magi, a short story by O. Henry, tells the heartfelt tale of Jim and Della, a married couple living in poverty who selflessly give up their most prized possessions to purchase a gift for the other. Jim willingly peddles his gold watch that has been passed down through the generations to purchase hair combs for his wife, who ironically sells her hair to buy a platinum watch chain for him. And that's it. You'll notice there's no and then, right? So the last part of the introduction is the claim, and this is that final sentence of the introductory paragraph. And we like to have students write a claim versus a thesis statement. And here you'll see that it directly answers the prompt without explaining why. And you'll see an example in just a second. And the reason that we like to do this, as opposed to teaching a 3-part thesis statement that really has, right, a claim and then your 3 reasons why, is we like to have our students include their reasons as their premises in their body paragraphs. And this allows for students to write more collegiate level work, right? They're not constraining themselves to listing every single premise that they're going to be addressing in their paper. When they get to a higher level, you're not doing that in a college essay. So we want to allow students the opportunity to simply write the claim and then go into their actual premises in the body paragraphs. And a claim, of course, is something that can be argued, right? You can find evidence to either prove or disprove a claim. So when you're thinking about your essential question that you're providing your students to respond to, you want to make sure that it really is an open-ended question that has evidence from the text to support what they're writing about. So going back to our example, we've just now added that last part, the claim. And here it says, although both Jim and Della make a large sacrifice for the other, Jim makes a more generous sacrifice in selling his gold watch. So you'll see that you can probably tell what the question was, right? Who made the larger sacrifice? Well, here, students are saying Jim is the one who makes the more generous sacrifice, but we're not saying why. The why is going to come, again, in those premises in the body paragraphs. So super simple, tag, summary, claim, and it gets students off to the races and really feeling good about their essay writing. So hopefully you can see the power of teaching an introductory paragraph this way. Make sure that you share this with your students. You can even show them my video if you'd like to get their feet wet and get them going with this particular approach to teaching writing. If you'd like more information about the EB writing program, definitely check out the information that I've included in the description of this video. All right, make sure that you subscribe and we'll see you in the next YouTube video.